What's up, FBA Journey family? Chris and Aaron back at it again. I know it's been a minute. Things have been busy, and that's kind of what we're going to cover today. If you guys are following the YouTube page and the Instagram, by the time this is posted, you'll know about the website update. So we won't talk about that too much today. Go ahead and go to our YouTube page and check out that latest video. It'll be going over kind of the updates on the website. But today, I think I'm just talking about where the heck we've been, everything going on with the brand, and just our plan moving forward. So yeah, let's just get into it.
Yeah.
All right, man. So I guess website aside, where are we at with the brand?
Where are we at with the brand? Good question. After multiple delays due to various issues with our product crossing the border, our products finally arrived on the shelves. We finally got them in stock. They're on the shelves. They're ready to go. So what we've really been trying to do the last couple of weeks, and why we've been so silent, is we were trying to come up with a new launch strategy, because the launch strategy that we used for our previous products, it's getting slightly out of date, and we needed to kind of revamp it and come up with a couple new strategies.
Borderline dangerous almost now with Amazon's terms of service. One good thing about the Facebook groups we've been in is, and I hate to say this, but certain things that people do during their launch strategies are they're on that gray line of right or wrong. And fortunately, I mean, knock on wood, at the moment we haven't been penalized or anything for any of the launch strategies we've done in the past. But a lot of people who are going with the traditional, paying somebody to leave a review through Facebook groups, a lot of those people are getting some serious lashback from Amazon and getting their entire account shut down. So it's transitioning from the launch strategies we've used in the past to trying to use social media more, influencers, and that's a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been dealing with, Chris has been doing a lot of work on the website, a lot of work on the website. I've been really trying to pick and choose influencers for the new brand. It's a brand that we're very excited about, but it's also a brand that we're not extremely knowledgeable in necessarily the demographic of people who would be a good influencer for the product. So right now I'm just trying to find a handful of influencers to kind of promote the brand. And I've made it clear with the influencers that I'm not necessarily looking to drive just crazy amounts of sales. I just want more brand awareness, because that's the only way we're going to grow. And that in itself is a whole new, it's just a new task. I got off the phone with one of the influencers 2 days ago now, I think it was. And like I told you, I mean, a few of the people I've talked to, it was fresh for them too, but the lady could almost tell that I was new to it, because I was kind of rambling on, and it's almost kind of nerve-wracking, because you're paying them to promote your product, but you don't want to undercharge, but you also don't want to overcharge, knowing, especially right now, I mean, we don't have thousands of dollars to spend. So it's been weird. It's been a weird and new experience trying to figure out exactly how much to charge for those services and how to sound professional enough to where they want to work with you.
Well, this whole new launch strategy has been just one big learning experience, because it's involved a lot of stuff that we never thought we'd touch.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what the hell a squeeze page was until a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I guess it's been about a week.
Hey, shout out Andrew Lewis though. He's been helping us out big time, and actually over Black Friday we stepped up and he put a sale on his course, so we're slowly but surely picking through that. But I mean, geez, just even his YouTube page, if y'all are like looking to launch products in 2019, watch some of his ClickFunnels videos, some of his PPC videos. His ClickFunnels video literally is a lifesaver, and we're actually about to launch that ad campaign utilizing the squeeze page that he pretty much showed us how to do. So I'm excited to see how that works. But you're right, like three weeks ago we had no idea what the hell a squeeze page was.
Yeah. The biggest thing too is, when you're brand new to social media marketing, you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that we've had to, learn basically from the ground up, because before when we ran Facebook ads, it's just like, okay, select a targeted audience, easy enough, then run the ad. But then you never get the results that you want to get because you don't know what the heck you're doing.
Yeah, and that's
been one of the biggest things, is just figuring out how to go about something the most efficient way. In the most effective way.
And you're right. I mean, before we would do an ad campaign, and it would get impressions, it would get views, it would get link clicks, but we're still learning how to actually keep track using like Sniply and figuring out who's actually engaging with the ad. And something I'm still trying to wrap my head around, and that's just learning, is you run your first initial ad, you gather the information, you get people's emails, for instance, but what do you do from that point on? And that's, once again, that's just something we're going to have to learn, because that's how you always have to take that initial ad and gather information. From that point on, you can retarget and all that stuff, and it's how to most effectively retarget, which is what we need to learn, because we're starting to get the basics and the understanding of how to run solid initial ads and how to really break down the different categories of targeting. But what do we do with that?
I think the biggest thing is, and probably one of the biggest reasons a lot of people that try to get into FBA don't follow through or fail with it, or any online business like that, is because a lot of people just are looking for a way to earn money fast.
No.
Now, you can get on FBA and you can start selling a product. If it sells, sure, cool, you're getting money in. Or you could take all that money that you earn, reinvest it into advertising, every single bit of it. So I think what a lot of people don't understand is, to be effective and to grow your business, you have to take losses. So as far as advertising, you have to say, okay, I understand that my first batch of products isn't going to make me money. I'm going to take a hit on it because I got to give away this amount of product to get my ranking up, to even be able to profit on those products in the future.
And especially with the new brand, it's not even ranking is one thing, but the brand awareness is a whole new thing.
Yeah.
So it's
and dealing with the brand's a completely different thing too. Anybody can slap a product up on Amazon. To start a brand is something completely different, because then you have to utilize social media traffic
if you want to build it,
or external, any sort of external traffic if you want to build it.
Yeah.
But why would you start a brand if you don't want to build it? That's the whole point of starting a brand, is to build it.
It's kind of transitioning into this period of having to learn social media advertising and figuring out how to create good ClickFunnels, like squeeze pages and things like that. It makes me understand why so many people, like on the Facebook groups, I've seen, I don't know if you've seen, but even just on like the Open FBA Heroes Facebook group, over the past few months, probably 10, 15 people who are either just selling off their inventory or have written up a little paragraph saying, okay, I'm moving on from FBA, or even on the seller forums. So many people are moving on just because, really, I kind of sat down and evaluated, we talked about it. Our first product, we went from $0 to $10,000 a month relatively quickly. And it was a lot of just PPC, and PPC kind of took us off. And now you just can't do that. You just can't. And I think a lot of people are starting to get weeded out, which is good for people like us or new people looking into it. If you're new coming into this, understand that the people who are saying just find a good product, put some money into PPC, and you'll do fine, it's just not the case anymore. I mean, depending on what market you're in, maybe, but I'm going to guess 8 times out of 10, you can't just run PPC and generate sales anymore. You have to get external traffic somehow, and that's going to separate the boys from the men, or the girls from the women, But I think it's really going to start separating people, because, I mean, one of the reasons I've been absent the past week or two is just I've honestly been overwhelmed. there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of new stuff we're learning, and it's frustrating to me at times, but it's the people who persevere and push through that struggle who are going to get it, and that's just what we got to do.
And you can't start off doing something like you know what the hell you're doing. You got to build up on that. You got to build up your confidence by doing a task here, a task there, and then eventually over time, once you've been through all those experiences, that's when you feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, PPC, we've seen a steady decline over the last couple months.
Yeah.
Like probably over the last 6 months of PPC just slowly getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Heck,
that new automatic campaign.
Yeah.
It literally, I don't think it's converted into one sale.
No, it's I think it's barely spent anything.
Yeah.
Even with a higher bid,
yeah,
it's barely spent anything.
That's a prime example. With our main product on our main account, we created a higher bid automatic campaign, and within days, we were starting to rack in sales. We immediately pulled that manual campaign, and I mean, it was just... honestly, I think it shocked both of us when we started getting 10, 12, 15, 20 sales a day. It was crazy. And honestly, it was fun, but now it was honestly really easy if you think about it at the time. At the time,
yeah. And I do remember we were doing several $1,000s profit a month just from ads. Yeah. Now you're lucky if you get a couple hundred.
Yeah. For the people who are following us on Instagram, a couple weeks ago, you guys saw that we hit a pretty good score with the coffee mugs from Target. And I had some people call us out that some of the sales ranks weren't great on some of the mugs, which is true. Believe it or not, one of them that had an absolutely terrible sales rank was actually one of the first ones that sold. Now, granted, we kind of picked and choose. Some of them are up on Amazon, some of them are up on eBay. But I think we've definitely made our money back already on the mugs.
Yeah, we've made our money back on the mugs already.
At least twice that much, actually, because each one's sold for over $15, hasn't it?
We probably made our money back and a little bit over.
Yeah. I mean, heck, that was more of a thing to do on the side for fun anyway, but...
Yeah, it's really surprising, though, because, like you said, some of the ones with the absolute horrible rank in, like, the millions were the first to sell, and there's a couple on there that had rank in, like, the... maybe like 20 to 40,000 range, and they're still sitting there.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't really make any sense, but I think it's just because it's the holiday time, man. So many people are looking for little...
It just depends on the product, too.
Yeah.
Just because it has a good rank doesn't mean that somebody's going to buy it, especially from a third-party seller or another seller.
Yeah.
They're going to buy it from the main manufacturer, the main seller over anybody else.
Yeah. That is true.
Especially if it's a better price.
Yeah. Fair enough on that.
Because when you're going out and buying stuff to sell like that as a third party, you can only go so low on your price.
Exactly.
Or compared to if you're the manufacturer and you're manufacturing them in the hundreds of thousands of units.
Yeah. Man. Something on the new brand. I mean, we've talked about this once again. This is more so for the people listening. With the new brand, the product we found. I mean, I found it one afternoon. I immediately contacted the suppliers. We pretty much finalized the design idea less than a week after we found the product. Then we decided to transition to start a whole new brand, which took a long, long time. Not to mention the customs issues. That's not normal, but it still took a long time.
Even the transition to the brand held us back because, like we said, everything was finalized. Yeah. And instead of utilizing just stickers, on the box, they actually printed the ASIN. Or the F and SKU,
which is a really nice touch. It looks really professional.
It looked great. Yeah. But the problem is when we transitioned to the brand and we had to move that product off of our other account over to our brand account. Yeah, we had to redo all those F and SKUs. They were all different.
Yeah.
So we ended up having to have them unbox everything, as everything was already packaged and ready to go. They had to unbox everything, relabel all the stickers, or apply stickers over all the barcodes that were on the boxes.
Yeah.
And that already killed about a week.
Yeah.
Plus an extra fee.
It's, in a way, it's disappointing, but it's a learning experience, and this is going to force us to grow the brand. But when we found this product, and this is actually the second time this has happened, when we found the product, there was one person selling it, just like the product we were working on before this one. I'm sure you remember which one that was.
Yeah.
There was one person selling this product. And for the new people out there, if you see something that looks promising, and our kind of rule of thumb has transitioned from finding those $10,000 a month products to finding a handful of products that are pulling in at least $2,000 to $3,000 profit a month.
Yeah.
And this one was right in that range. And at the time, they were actually doing anywhere from $10,000 a month. They were kind of fluctuating between $7,000 a month and all the way up to $13,000 a month, which was great. There was one person selling them. Found the product, came up with the design, and everything was moving very quickly. And the kind of moral of what I'm trying to say is, if you guys find something, move as quickly as possible. Yeah. Now, in a sense, it was a drawback that we decided to brand everything, and we're trying to create a brand off of this, because had we not done that, we could have gotten in there earlier, and we probably would have established ourselves in that market. But now, by the time the product actually hit the warehouse, there's over 20. I think at least 20 people selling this thing.
Yeah.
What I've noticed right off the bat is a lot of people didn't take time to brand it. They just slap their own label on it and they're selling it, which is a plus for us because we're branding it. We're trying to build a brand awareness. But it's frustrating in a sense because this is the second time we found that product that there was one person selling and they were killing it, and we relate to the game. But it's just part of it. And the moral of what I'm trying to say is, for anybody who's getting into selling, or anybody who's even been selling for the same amount of time as us, or a little bit longer, a little bit less, if you find something that looks promising and you know you have enough to at least launch it, just freaking do it, man. Just do it, because it's...
You got to take the chance.
Yeah, I mean, dude...
If it looks promising, you can always build up a product, no matter what type of product it is. There is you told me something the other day that somebody entered into a crap market, and he's on the first page.
Yeah, he's a British seller. I wish I could pull up his name real quick. It's John. It may actually, well, if I'm wrong, I'll put it up on the screen, but I'm pretty sure his name is John Bradley, but he's a Amazon seller in the UK, and he's kind of actually showing the process of creating a new brand. It's a water bottle brand. And the market, I'm pretty sure some of the people, the competitors, have upwards of 10,000 plus reviews, like thousands of reviews. And the Jungle Scout extension literally said that it's not a good market to enter, not a good market to enter. And he's in the process of creating a brand, which we're in the process of as well. And he went from entering that market with 0 reviews to now he's on the first page already with 18 reviews, and just he created a brand around it. That's the thing. He's creating a brand, a mission statement. He's got the social media behind it. It's a really good quality product. So, like you said, you can enter a market. You can. It's just a matter of doing it the right way. And I think that's what... Right now, a lot of people aren't willing to put in that work. So right now, it's the prime time to do what he's doing, to really get into those markets, build the brand. But in the next 6 months, 7 months, the next year or two, people are going to realize that that's what they're going to have to do. And it's going to get harder again. And then there's going to be another breakthrough, and people are going to find out how to, keep growing. But right now is the prime time. Right now is the prime time to get into Amazon and understand that you have to build a brand around it. If you understand that going into it, if you understand that you're going to have to put a lot of money into advertising, a lot of money into creating a legitimate good product, it'll work out. It's just, you can't just have a cheapo product anymore. You can't have a cheapo product with no brand behind it, or it's just not going to work. It won't. I really don't think it will.
No. And prime example, the product that we're trying to launch now under the brand. I mean, and until we started trying to actually drive some social media traffic, some external traffic to it, it didn't do anything. It just sat there.
Yeah. Now we still
even
have
with, and that's what it sat there for. What, 1-2 weeks? That's with PPC running.
Yeah, that shows you how PPC is. But I mean, we're not at a point now where they're not selling every single day.
No.
But we're still in the process of the launch phase, and kind of back to this whole week of being kind of absent. We have been busy, but I think we've kind of just been. I think honestly, at least I don't know about you, but I've been quite in my head the past like week or two, and just it's been a mix between the days where we do work, we're busy trying to catch up, but I feel like there have been days where we've just been slacking. I think so, and I think that's just it's part of it. It's a little hump in the road, but we had that conversation the other day, and I think we know what we got to do. And I think it'll always be like that. It'll always be a constant game of getting a lot done, hitting a small road bump, and we gotta keep the momentum going. We have to, and scheduling and planning that always helps.
Yeah, I mean, prime example. I mean, we've been through this before. We know that if we let the momentum slow down,
it's game over.
It's game over. It all slows down. You start feeling bad for yourself, and then you don't want to do anything.
And then you realize you're just being a...
Yeah, and the only way to get back into it is to force yourself back into it.
Yeah.
Get going and don't stop.
Yeah.
If you stop, then you lose steam again.
Yep. And honestly, I don't want to drag this on for too long, but something I want to add into this, and something we talked about. I'm very bad about this, and I don't know. I know we kind of talked about this. I'm personally all in, or I'm not there at all. And I think it's what we need to do. And I know we talked about this again, and this is something that you guys can also benefit from. Is don't completely consume yourself in this like 24/7. I mean, it works, but I feel like you will almost always eventually get burned out, and that's what me and Chris talked about. Creating the schedule for the week, like we know that works, but still implementing things for our actual well-being and still doing things that we enjoy. I think we get caught up in this so often that we work. I've stopped working out for the most part. Chris is an aspiring pilot. We talked that he needs to start getting back into getting his pilot's license. I need to get back in the gym. I need to start working on my motorcycles again. And you just got to find that work-life balance, because I promise you
can't work every second of your life.
I mean, unless you're Gary Vee. Kudos to Gary Vee. I mean, and there's people out there who are like that, but I think for the most people watching this, and I think most people who, most average people, if you're working 24/7 on the exact same thing, Albert Einstein, I believe it's Albert Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again every day. And now I may be wrong. I think it was Albert Einstein. I think I'm quoting that correctly. But it's you got to find the work-life balance, because I think that's one of the reasons we kind of were in this rut for the past couple days, past week or two. It's just we worked ourselves to a point of just, I don't even know the word. It just almost unmotivated us in a sense. But just find the work-life balance. Find the work-life balance, and make sure if you're doing this, start a legitimate brand. Don't be a cheapo and just try to make a quick buck. But really,
all right, guys, I think that's all we're gonna have for you today. We're coming up on 26 minutes here. It's kind of our goal to keep it under 20, but we didn't quite meet that. Oh well.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do in the magic of editing to cut this down time-wise a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, nothing really. We didn't have anything specific we want to talk about. Just kind of an update. Things could be worse, could be better, but I mean, it's one of those weird points at the moment. But it's time to get more consistent with this FBA journey thing. We got some catching up to do.
Yeah. And as always, guys, stay focused, keep selling, and we'll see you next time.